Look, it's just unbelievable. It's beyond belief, really, from outsiders looking in. And it just seems to happen year on year. And we hear from the new Biden administration that they need to be tough on gun laws, but it's just not going to happen, is it?
If the past is any indication, it's going to be very tough because of the NRA and, most importantly, the gun manufacturers who don't want any kind of gun regulation at all. And that's unconscionable when you see how many mass shootings. There were several in Indianapolis alone this year alone, several mass shootings already, and just on and on. And in this case, it's 8 innocent people gunned down, many, many more wounded at their workplace. By the way, 25% of American mass shootings occur in the workplace. It's a very dangerous place to be in the workplace in many cases. 25%. And 96% of those are mainly men who are doing the shooting. So this has to stop. Gun regulation, assault weapons ban would be really important. Registration of guns, background checks, all these things that President Biden has proposed. And Congress has to act on it. And the people have to actually get awakened and force Congress to act peacefully, of course.
Peter, let's talk about the Afghanistan withdrawal. How significant is this? Previous presidents have made similar promises. Will Biden actually follow through?
It's quite significant, and there's a good chance he will this time. And don't forget, this has been a 20-year war now. It began in October of 2001, right after the attacks on the World Trade Center, and it was done ostensibly mainly to retaliate and actually mostly to punish those who carried out the attacks. The Taliban government at the time was sponsoring the terrorist Al-Qaeda who had claimed credit, and we knew that they had done it. Bin Laden claimed credit for it. So when we went in there to try to capture Bin Laden and to not take out the the Taliban government, and that was accomplished, why did the country remain there so long? And there is, of course, a danger that Taliban could come back. But nowadays, it's much better to use counterterrorism through remote means, through intelligence, through drone strikes of high-profile targets who want to go international. Terrorists are all the same. Some of them just want to do local terrible activity in their own country and take over the government. But the ones that are a threat to the United States are international terrorists, and those can be dealt with much more effective than having troops on the ground, in this case, in the longest war for the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to view the international perspective, isn't it? When you think that more people have died by guns inside the United States in the theatres than the theatres of war since I think it was Vietnam, and I don't quote me on that, but it's something like that.
The numbers are staggering.
It is phenomenal. And I just wonder, what people think when they see the states pointing the finger at others when they can't get this right, because it's remarkable. And it seems the last few weeks we've just turned a page on a new event every single couple of days.
Constantly. And the vast majority of American people want sensible gun control. They want the reforms that could reduce this violence. You folks had a Port Arthur massacre back in 1996. When you banned assault weapons, then it's the number of massacres went down way. That was like 3 out of the last 20, 30 years. Over here, we banned it for 10 years, the assault weapons, and then after that, Congress let it expire, and 105 mass shootings occurred. So there's comparative analysis that proves that these gun control sensible measures would work. So the American people have to get up and express themselves because most of them want them, and the gun lobby is stopping it. And you're right about the wars. 2,300 people died in Afghanistan in the last 20 years. I'm talking American combat soldiers, 43,000 Afghans, and far more Americans dying so many times throughout the years by gun violence here.
Let's turn to a different topic now. And on Friday, Peter, Dr. Scott Gottlieb commented that the US is unlikely to eradicate COVID like it has done with other diseases such as polio and smallpox unless Americans significantly change their frame of mind on vaccination. What's your take on this theory?
It is absolutely correct that Americans have to accept vaccination. We started out with 30% adamantly refusing to accept it, and now it's down to 20-something%. People are learning that their neighbors and family are getting vaccinated and they're surviving just fine, and they're kept from getting the virus. It's just remarkable, the percentages. It's a way over 90% efficacy that blocks the virus from attacking you and putting you in the hospital. People should see this in a logical way, and more Americans are getting to understand this. But the problem is it's also a certain ideological perspective. Half of Republicans don't want to be vaccinated. Over 90% of Democrats will. And it's not just it should not be a partisan issue. This is a scientific issue, and it has to be done. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to wipe this out completely, as the doctor said.
And it stubbornly won't move, will it? It's like 65,000, 68,000, average 72,000 a day. And look, you would have thought it'd be dropping further than that at the moment after what we've seen.
And the reason for that is that, yes, the vaccinations the numbers are gone up. We've only still vaccinated less than half our people fully, but we're moving forward on the vaccination front. But there also has to be social distancing, mask wearing, contact tracing in a very rigorous way, and especially the wearing of masks. And yet, many state governors have opened up their states to allow people to dine indoors without wearing masks, eating their food with their mouths open. It's just unconscionable. And then many schools are sending kids back on campus directly without even testing the kids, without a child's vaccine. I think what we should do is get this under control in the next month and a half, 2 months, and then it'll be really under control, and do it the right way, the scientific way. So let's hope people will wake up.
Let's hope so. Always great to talk to you, Professor Peter Mathews. We'll touch base with you again soon.
Thank you, Janie, and thank you, Tim.